Time for your China brief and a look at really what's making headlines in national newspapers here. So Shanghai Securities News, we'll start with this, is reporting an increase in cancellations of IPOs on the mainland. So it says about 339 companies have scrapped their listing applications so far this year, and that's really due to stricter rules at stock exchanges and also weaker earnings. Some firms that have terminated those plans are reportedly eyeing mergers instead. Meanwhile, the China Securities Journal says, the smart driving sector is drawing more interest from private equity investors. A fund manager told the paper that driverless taxis could one day become a $1 trillion market. Sounds like Kathy Wood, actually. As consumers travel, of course, and habits change. Now, the report says investors see potential following the introduction, of course, of robo-taxis under Baidu's Apollo platform.
And Chinese state media is touting Beijing's role in brokering a deal between different Palestinian factions. The reporting focuses on international response to the so-called Beijing Declaration, which seeks to form a Palestinian unity government after the war. Media outlets say the deal affirms China's role as a, quote, peacemaker. For more, we're joined by our China correspondent Minmin Low now. And China is really kind of playing up this diplomatic win on the Palestine issue here, just as we saw the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Congress with a pretty defiant speech.
Yeah, I mean, Chinese state-linked media is really having a field day just playing up this success, what they're calling the historic Beijing Declaration of Peace among these 14 factions, including between Hamas and Fatah. And that is no easy feat given the long-standing bitter enmity between these groups. I mean, there have been attempts to do this in the past that have failed. And of course, this current peace deal is untested at the moment, but it does go quite far in agreeing to form this interim national reconciliation government on a pro-Gaza territory. Of course, that territory is still in question at this moment. After you heard Israel saying they're vowing to eradicate Hamas, but still, there's no doubt it's a win for Beijing. It showcases its growing influence in the Middle East after they had brokered that peace deal as well between Saudi Arabia and Iran last year. And of course, there are analysts who say that, there is this lack of international mediation, this kind of sidelining of the Palestinian issue that gave an opening to China, which has been that country that has been calling for this two-state solution. But at the same time, there are obstacles as well from the US, UK, Israel. These are countries that are unlikely to support any form of unity government that has Hamas as a part of it. And of course, state-linked media is just playing up China as this responsible global major player who is an advocate for peace and who has the results to show for it.
Yeah, well, speaking of, Wang Yi was speaking, I believe, in Guangzhou with the Ukraine's foreign minister. How did that conversation go?
Yes, so the Ukrainian foreign minister described the talks as being very concentrated and deep. It went on for more than 3 hours, but the long and short of it is that Ukraine still insists that it's not going to engage with Russia unless its territorial sovereignty is fully respected. And that is a moot point given that Putin has said he's not willing to end this war unless Ukraine cedes those occupied territories to Russia and Ukraine ends its ambition on joining NATO. So China's foreign ministry is saying that the conditions are not ripe for peace talks. That's just a nicer way of saying that they can't broker a ceasefire at this point. And clearly, Beijing has repeatedly been saying that they support a political end to this solution. And remember that peace summit in Switzerland where Russia was not invited to, Beijing refused to participate because they said both Russia and Ukraine must be at the table, and they've been advocating for an alternate peace conference. And it looks like Kyiv is open to that. They have said that they're willing to hold a second summit later this year. They want it to be held and hosted by a country in the global south. They want Russia to be a part of it as well. So that's something to look out for. But of course, this matter has taken increased urgency as well because a potential Trump presidency could mean a cut down in U.S. commitment to support Ukraine in its war.